Welcome abroad to the Electron Journey that is the Matter of Fact podcast. Today, brace yourselves as we gear up to tackle the exciting terrain of NFL free agency. Last time, we ventured through the north, but today, we're venturing south. I'm your host, the one and only Eliante, and joining me are the dynamic duo themselves, Austin and Don. How are you feeling, Don?
Hey, man. I'm feeling, ain't nothing changed but the weather, you know?
I hear that. It's sunny up here in, DC. How you feeling, Austin? How you feeling? Undefeated. I love it. Let's start with the AFC South. Houston Texans. Given the rise of C.J. Stroud and their recent moves, can they be the ones to dethrone the Kansas City Chiefs?
I mean, they're gearing up for it. I think that they're trying to put the right pieces in place for the opportunity to have a Super Bowl run. Are they ready right now? I think we're going to have to wait until the season comes to find out, just because, C.J. Stroud, this will be his sophomore year. And even though he had a spectacular rookie season, football teams, defensive coordinators, everybody, they got a year of tape now. And we want to figure out what his deficiencies are. We're going to figure out what he's good at. He's good when he plays against cover 3, but is he that good when he has to play man-to-man? Or when he has to play in cover 2, where the drop zones, whatever that situation may be, so it's just going to see if he can handle everything that's thrown at him this year. It's a little different in your second year as a starting quarterback in the NFL compared to that rookie season where teams and defensive coordinators didn't have a full summer to figure out what you're good and what you're bad at. So we'll see. We'll see.
That all that's good points. But it kind of, the whole C.J. Stroud thing reminds me of when they played the Browns in the playoffs. I remember I was talking to my boy. He was, trying to pick who to bet on. And I was like, bro, the Texans got it. And my boy was like, I mean, it's a rookie, that Browns defense, Myles Garrett and all that. But I was just like, bro, something about C.J. Stroud, like he's just different. Like he's like the chosen one. He's like Neo from the Matrix. Like it's Keanu Reeves. I just knew he was going to win. I feel like, usually there's like a sophomore year drop off. That especially happens to like the bridge quarterback types that had like a couple good games the season before, and then it's like, oh, this guy might really be the guy, and it's like, nah, he's really not that good. Like another example, Puka Nacua. I think he's going to be great for some time. Like I don't think there's nothing you can scheme up to really stop that man. So with C.J. Stroud, I mean, they added Stephon Diggs recently, obviously. Joe Mixon, definitely an upgrade from that tandem at running back that they had. Jeff Okudah, did you know about that one, Austin?
Yeah, they signed Jeff Okudah.
How you feel about that?
He's a free agent. I mean, he's fine. It's not like he's going to be the guy guarding the number one wide receivers. They still got Derek Stingley Jr., but they selected high in the 2022 draft.
I think it was either 21 or 22. One of those.
I think he was a freshman on that team, the team with Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson and all of them. So yeah. I think that it was 22. But their defense is stacked. They still got Christian Harris. They still got Will Anderson, and they have D'Amico Ryans as their head coach, who also runs the defense. So I mean, I think that
they got Daniel Hunter now too. From the Vikings.
Daniel Hunter and Jalen Pierre, who is probably one of my favorite football players in the NFL in general.
Petrie.
Yeah.
It's like what's funny about Jalen Petrie? Texans fans aren't that high on him. I think it's pretty weird. It's funny when a team that's always been ass like get some hot shit going, and then they act like they've always been good. Kind of like the Bengals fans. It's like, bro, relax. Like, stop acting like y'all some sort of dynasty with some rich history. Now, for the Texans, Jalen Petrie, y'all kind of want him off the team.
I mean, they got to Yeah, they got it. I mean, they have a solidified defense. They got dogs. I mean, literally, they got blue chippers at almost every single level of the defense. So that's all you can really ask for your football team to do, And as for, like I said, the quarterback, again, I don't think that he's trash or anything like that. But based off the scheme, people were predicting the Texans to win that game versus Cleveland because they were going to have Nico Collins and CJ Stroud. They were like, yo, against cover 3, they kill shit. Like his QB rating against cover 3 is like over 100. And also like every time Nico Collins, I don't know if any of you guys had him on your fantasy football team. Anytime he was going off and going crazy, which he did a lot throughout the season, it was when they were playing teams that play cover 3. And then they went up against Baltimore, and Baltimore they just had a little bit of everything for him. And that's where it gets tough. And I'm not trying to say that because he can't beat Baltimore, he can't make a Super Bowl run. It's just like, we'll see how many teams he plays that adjust to beating him. That's another thing too. Certain teams, they don't get the same treatment as others when it comes to, okay, this team's coming to town, bet we're going to scheme like this to make sure that we can get this W today. And, sometimes coaches might have looked over the Texans or whatever the situation was. And I don't think now the Texans, like you said, they got Stephon Diggs, Tank Dell, they got Nico Collins, who I just mentioned. So I don't think that they're going to be looked over.
My thing is he was going crazy like all year. So it's not like, he had I feel like this more so applies to like Jordan Love, where it was kind of shaky in the beginning and then he started kind of going crazy. And then it's like, all right, now we have some tape on you. Like with CJ Stroud, it's kind of like, all right, brother, he's been kind of killing it since day one. It's not like, you know what I mean? Like, and teams weren't really making adjustments for the most part.
And again, we also said this football, playoff football and regular season football, that's 2 different ball games. You know what I mean? And like that's why it's almost like one of those things where you just kind of has to see what it looks like when they do play in that second round.
How about this? I mean, it's kind of arbitrary right now, but like, who are the teams that, let's say the whole goal, because the question is a Super Bowl run, pretty much, if they could have thrown them, get into the AFC Championship.
So, right. That's what I'm saying. So you got to win
those. What are the teams? Baltimore, the Bengals. I know you really like the Bengals. I don't know about the Bills anymore. Chiefs, obviously. That goes without saying.
Right. And then you still got, I mean, I don't know what you want to consider Cleveland with a healthy quarterback. I don't know, I don't know what kind of, what you consider the play of Deshaun Watson. I'm sure later on in here, we're going to talk about some of his division rivals could be coming up, with the Indianapolis Colts. There's definitely a few teams out there that, I think
the AFC has always been stronger, at least for the past, especially with quarterbacks.
It's a gauntlet. He's part of the reason why it's a gauntlet. Like I don't want to take that away from him. I'm just saying it's a gauntlet out there. So we're gonna have to see, because we didn't even say Miami. We didn't even talk about Miami. We didn't talk about
I just don't believe in Tua, but we'll get to the Dolphins, whatever. Yeah. Right. I don't know how you feel about the Chargers. Like, I feel like the Chargers really in contention. I just believe in that boy Harbaugh. It's just
I just think they're rebuilding right now. I think they have stuff that they need to, take care of. They need stuff on defense. They need players on offense. I mean, he's probably going to go offensive line.
Derwin James and some of them boys, like if they stay healthy, I think Derwin James underperformed because Brandon Staley was a terrible coach. He was a defensive head coach who couldn't get the defense right. And I feel like if you're not scheming these guys up right, it's going to make them look bad. So I feel like there's not as many, they have a lot of holes, but it's not as many holes as I think people might think. And if Harbaugh is worth his, what they're hyping him up to be, I think he covers those up.
It's a yes or no. I want to hear both your answers.
No.
Okay.
Shit. Yeah. I mean, I doubt it. But actually, bro, he's Neo. I'm actually going with
Mhm.
I think there's a possibility. Like I keep forgetting Diggs. Like the thing with Diggs, and I don't even want to make this like a race thing or nothing like that. I just think like in terms of quarterbacks, he just like think about who he like forced out. Minnesota Vikings, Kirk Cousins. He's cool, but like he's kind of like a weird dude. Like he's kind of like what Russell Wilson like tries to pretend to be, like a genuinely nice guy, but he's actually a nice guy. Like Kirk Cousins is cool. Everyone's a little bit weird. Like all three of us, a little bit weird in our own way. Kirk Cousins is weird
Hey,
in his
speak
own
for
way.
yourself, bro. Hey,
Bro, you're weird as shit. Kirk Cousins,
Yeah.
Cousins, come on now. Like, is that somebody Stephon Diggs would kick it with out on the weekend? And then with Josh Allen, I mean, it's the crazy part about it is like leaving a top 3 quarterback like that is crazy. I feel like with CJ Stroud, I feel like they're just going to. I feel like they'll mesh better, and it's like his third team, so it's like at a certain point, it's like, bro, you're getting out of your prime now, and now
Well,
like
that's what I mean, they made the trade for him, and obviously you saw the reconstructed his contract, so he's not on a 4-year contract anymore. He's on a 1-year
1
deal,
year.
and he's going to be a free agent. When they made the trade, I was looking at it like, okay, they made this trade for insurance, and like I think that they still really, really like Nico Collins a lot. I think if you look at him, he's basically considered a number 1 alpha wide receiver based off of his stature and stature and the way that he plays the game as an X
And
wide
where he was
receiver.
drafted, I think he was drafted like in the early second, or was it late first? It was
Bro,
one.
he was drafted. Nico Collins was drafted late. Nico Collins was drafted later because he was on that Michigan
Look
team.
that up, Eliante.
And so I think what they're trying to do is they're trying to have that insurance for if something happens to Nico Collins or something does happen to Tank Dell. It's like, all right, well, our third best wide receiver is some people's number 1 wide receiver if he was on other teams.
Collins was drafted 89th overall by the Houston Texans in the third round.
Third round. So at the top of the third, basically at the top of the third.
Yeah, so I was a whole round off pretty much.
Yeah, but I think that, and he's coming up. He's a free agent too. So I think that the way that they're kind of looking at it is, all right, let's see what Nico Collins does this year. If Nico Collins balls out, we'll give him the extension. You know what I mean? And then it's like Stephon Diggs, we'll see what he does. We'll rent a Diggs, and we'll see what he if he balls out, maybe he'll get an extension with another team. If he goes crazy, it looks like he's still in his prime and he still has juice, and Nico Collins really doesn't live up to this year's expectations, kind of maybe falls off a little bit. All right, well, maybe we let Nico Collins.
Here's the thing though, bro. Like, for one, Tank Dell, one of the knocks on him when he was coming out the draft was like injury concerns, and that showed up in the middle of the year.
This is more so about Nico Collins.
I know, but here's my point. What I'm saying is, I feel like low key, you're kind of underestimating the impact of Stephon Diggs, because the thing about CJ Stroud is he kind of showed these teams that are kind of like dealing with these meddling quarterbacks. Hey, the quarterback really drive the boat. They had your boy Noah Brown and Dalton Schultz putting up crazy numbers because he's really
that's right. And it's like now, it's like, yo, if there's something, if there's an injury or there's a case of emergency, the breaking glass isn't Noah Brown. The breaking glass now is Stephon Diggs. Like that's
what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I think they could dethrone him. But
I mean, but I'm saying, like, I'm saying too, it's like, I'm not saying that this is a bad trade by any means. It's clear like they made the trade because it's like, yo, we want as much talent as possible. We're going to go for it, but that's still something you got to do. You got to beat the Chiefs.
The Colts, I think.
I actually believe it's the Jacksonville Jaguars we were going to touch base on. Is Trevor Lawrence living up to his pre-draft lofty expectations?
Man, it's tough with T-Law, my boy Sunshine. Like, it's tough with him because that Urban Meyer year, who could have really saw that coming? Like, yeah, college coaches don't always transition well to the NFL, but it's like it seemed like the safe bet. Like, it seemed like, all right, he'll be at least average, not a damn disaster. You know what I mean? Like, it was a toxic locker. I'm hearing new things come out about that Jags locker room to this day. It seemed like something out of a movie. You know what I mean? Like, that shit was a nightmare for someone of his stature and, you know, his talent. So that first year was kind of a wash. It's been really up and down with him, but, you know, we live in like a what have you done for me lately kind of fast food, fast media, fast everything world. And I think with some more time, like, he's shown us enough, like, yeah, he deserved to be the number one pick. Was he, you know, this transcendent talent? Maybe not, but he didn't put the expectations on himself. So, you know, to me, they have a franchise quarterback, and that's all that matters.
Yeah. I mean, I agree. It's hard to get quarterbacks. And, you know, when they're playing football, everybody wants to bitch and moan, oh, he's not it, da, da, da. And it's easy to blame the quarterback. Team could be making all kinds of mistakes, but we're gonna blame the quarterback. And I mean, I think that he's handled everything properly. You know, I think he handled the situation with Urban Meyer. Like, he handled it in a respectful way. He was never, yeah, he handled it professionally. And it's like, this is when he's supposed to learn how to become a professional. You know what I mean? Like, that was not beneficial for him in his professional growth. But he, you know, turned it into a positive. The next year they got an actual coach in. They were able to go to the playoffs, and, you know, they were even playing well for a little bit of a time this year. And it just kind of fell by the wayside for whatever reasons. I think that for the most part, if he was a free agent quarterback, like, I think he's getting a supermax. He's breaking a record for a new deal. Yeah, because he's a franchise quarterback. And if you're a franchise quarterback, someone's gonna sign you to a lucrative deal. That's just what it is. It doesn't matter.
The Jags are not letting that boy go whatsoever.
Right. Yeah.
Like, Austin, this is what I'm really, like, questioning. Like, what do you think they're doing with their wide receiver? Like, it kind of seems like they need to get, like, that true number one. Like, I think Christian Kirk's, like, an amazing 2. And they just got Gabe Davis, but that's another 2. And who else they got now? They got Zay Jones. That's like a 2-3.
Yeah, I mean, they definitely
they're cool, but, like, when are they gonna? They need to really get that guy. If anything, they should have been in the market for Stephon Diggs themselves.
Well, but maybe they were watching the film when they were watching Gabe Davis, and they were looking at Stephon Diggs, and they were like, you know what, you know, like, yeah, and, you know, I think what they're doing at wide receiver is what they can do. They maxed out Christian Kirk because he was the best available wide receiver on the market that year, and everybody couldn't believe that they paid $20 million for Christian Kirk. And, you know, they traded for Calvin Ridley. It didn't work out, and somebody was able to give him a higher offer with in the, like, late hours or whatever the situation was.
Keep in mind with the Calvin Ridley thing, it was like they were going to have to give up, like, a draft pick on top of that. Like, in terms
there was
some of the details, it just didn't really make sense for him. Like, he was cool, but it was just kind of like
there was no clear separation that he was the alpha wide receiver in that wide receiver room. So it was kind of like, oh dang,
perfectly set.
So I mean, I think what they're going to do is they're like, yo, this is a deep wide receiver class. So, you know, I think that they're going to definitely take a shot at wide receiver. Maybe they don't take a shot at wide receiver in the first round, but for sure in the second round, might even double dip, take one in the second, take another one in the fourth. Like, this is a deep wide receiver class. And a lot of people believe after the fifth wide receiver or the fourth wide receiver, 5 through 20, it's like, pick what you want. Pick the type of wide receiver you want. So in a draft like that, they'll probably hope to get their special guy in this this draft season, and they'll see what they can do, develop them, have them with Trevor for a little bit, and if they can build that chemistry up, it'll work itself out. So, and they don't have an alpha number one, but they do have everything else. They do have a nice tight end. They got two solid backs out the backfield. Offensive line.
Did they pick somebody up, or am I like
Tank Bigsby? They drafted Tank Bigsby last year.
Yeah, he's cool. He cool.
So it's like they're throwing darts at the board.
And they got Josh Allen, the edge, Josh Allen, and they
all pro. Yeah.
And then they just picked up Eric Armstead, so that D line should be looking pretty smooth, I think.
I mean, yeah, they still need a third pass rusher, I believe, and I think they need some help at cornerback. They need a lot of help at cornerback.
I think that's what they go first round, to be honest. They'll probably go corner because the defensive players in the draft, they're going to drop because there's so much offense and the loaded in the
right. And as awesome as it is to talk about the wide receivers and how spectacular they are, it's like when you talk about what's it called, surplus in economics. If there's a surplus of wide receivers and there isn't that many cornerbacks in this draft or many defensive players at all that we really, really like, it's like, all right, well, how about we just go ahead and take this corner and then we'll get the wide receiver in the second or third round.
I think it's a pretty deep corner class too. I mean, the receiver class is deeper, but I still think it's a pretty deep corner class.
It's deep, but if you can get Kool-Aid McKinstry to fall to you, or I want to say AD Mitchell, but I don't think that's not his name. The Toledo prospect, the cornerback that ran the 4.3, who was killing it at the Senior Bowl. I cannot believe I don't know his name. Sorry, the Cowboys aren't looking at corners in the first round, so I don't know any of the cornerback names.
I feel like, are you talking about a Donnie Mitchell?
Donnie Mitchell. No. I'm talking about the cornerback from Toledo. I cannot believe I don't know his name. That's crazy. Quinn Mitchell. Quinn Mitchell.
Yeah, he's not making it to the Jags, though, I think. I think he's going to be first corner off the board.
But that's what I'm saying, though. It's like, all right, whereas 3 cornerbacks might be off the board, it's like, okay, 3 or 4 might be off the board. Maybe there's not. Maybe he's the only one off the board.
Because did they even make the playoffs?
No, they did not. They lost. They were up. They were getting ready to make the playoffs. At one point, I want to say they even had
So maybe they could get Quinyon Mitchell.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I mean. So it's like, they're in the middle. They're drafting in the middle of the. Yeah, they're in the middle of the draft. They anywhere between 14 and 20. I'm pretty sure they draft.
Based off what you've seen, and I know it's his first year. We gotta see how he does when the coaches know what to look for and the defensive coordinators know what to look for. But who do you think is really going to come out on top in that division?
We got to see. We got to see what Anthony Richardson does, bro. They won shit. They made the playoffs with Gardner Minshew as their quarterback. So we talking about the Colts.
We're about to get to the Colts, so we might as well set into them right now.
Right.
Well, Jacksonville Jaguars, just to confirm, is number 17 in the
first round. 17. Okay.
Yeah, so that would be. I mean, he would
that'd be great for corner. Yeah, I think they're definitely going corner, but that draft thing that is coming up. Little Easter egg.
Excuse me if I pronounce his name wrong, but
Shane Steichen.
Can you say that again for me? Steichen.
Shane Steichen.
Steichen. Okay.
Steichen. Yeah.
So can Shane Steichen build upon last year's success with the return of Anthony Richardson?
Yeah. I mean, if Anthony Richardson is healthy, they're going to be a problem. I mean, they got some holes on defense they need to fill. I think right now they got two cornerbacks that are starting caliber cornerbacks. They need probably at least one more, ideally maybe another two more DBs. And after that, I think that they would be cooking. I definitely think that they got a solid wide receiver core with Michael Pittman coming back, and then also Josh Downs
Alec
the
Pierce,
offense,
like Alec Pierce, sleeper.
Alex, right? And, I just think that the offensive coordinator is the reason why the Eagles went to Super Bowl now 2 years back. I think that
That's
he's
why
one
the
of the reasons
Colts
why they
have
had
a
a good
soft
season.
spot in my heart for
Yeah,
real. Snatch.
and yeah, I think he's like a really good head coach. Like I think his scheme is perfect. He's the type of head coach that's like, okay, this is a talented player. This is how I'm going to get him involved on our offense. This is a talented quarterback. This is what we're going to run to showcase all of his talents, whether it's with his arm strength, whether it's with his legs. He's the type of coach that's going to get the most out of the players that he has. And I'm not saying that he might that the Colts have the same type of roster as the Houston Texans, but I think that that's going to be they're going to battle. They're going to battle for that division, for the top spot in that division, and it's going to be fun. It's going to be a fun division to look forward to next year.
Yeah, which is unlike, years past. Like, it's really looking good. I just hope the kid learns how to slide and not take all that damage to his body. I mean, if he was playing in the early 2000s, he'd be cooked. He'd be cooked. Like, he needs to learn how to slide and just avoid that contact, to be honest.
Anthony Richardson. He's talking about Anthony Richardson, by the way.
Yeah. Anthony Richardson. I mean, but
Yeah.
I mean, they're cool. I think they're kind of ways away with the Texans and Jags in that division. But Shane Steichen's definitely that difference maker. Where if they did make a surprise little run,
because it made the playoffs. The Jags didn't make the playoffs.
You said what?
The Colts made the playoffs, and the Jags didn't.
That's a fact. See, I'm over here just name value. You know how to name value. I mean, it's like, yeah, Trevor Lawrence, Gardner Minshew. And
it's funny about that, because I guess there was a report out, and I don't someone actually told it to me, but basically if you compare, and I'm not trying to shade Jermaine's, but they were like, yo, if you compare Daniel Jones's stats to Trevor Lawrence's, they're not that far. You'd be surprised that they're not that far apart.
Was that the first couple years or no?
I mean, I'm pretty sure they were
years, such a.
Yeah, I don't know if they included like this year when your man he was hurt. You know what I'm saying? He only played in a few games, but like, yeah, I think they were saying like body of work over the same amount of time. Trevor Lawrence maybe has a few better games than DJ, but they were just like DJ just has those games where he just was bad. Like he just has those, those bad games. But
Bankers, yeah.
Yeah, so that's something to consider when it comes to DJ too. It's about how people perceive you, because of that number one pick, because we don't have the jokes, with Trevor Lawrence like that. It's kind of, he's looked at a certain way compared to like, DJ, who apparently his team is trying to.
That trip against the Eagles where he had the full thing and then he fell on it.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, he's never going to be taken seriously. I respect the heart, because he was pissed in that post-game interview, but it's like, come on, bro. It's Looney Tunes.
It's almost like he forgets he's the quarterback, the leader of the team. The way he carries himself is not, like a leader. But I mean,
what are you talking about?
I don't know about that.
I'm talking about DJ.
Keep in mind, you're talking about my team. He carries himself.
Yeah, he handles the media.
Like, he gets a lot of criticism and all that. Plus, we were talking about the long. It had nothing to do with it. But,
yeah, bro. Like you be surprised. Like some of these quarterbacks, they wouldn't be built for that. They would not. They couldn't even be in New York. You know what I mean? Like they'd have to turn their phones off.
The same thing with Dallas. It's like an extra thing you need. It's like another comparison is like a quarterback that's comfortable playing in cold weather. It's almost like that. Like, are you comfortable dealing with this pressure? Because that mental anguish.
Can you throw? Can you throw in that shit?
Yeah, it hits different. It's a very mental game, above the ears type game.
And my question for y'all is, so do y'all think the Tennessee Titans are all in on Will Levis? Austin, take us away.
I don't necessarily know if they know if they're all in on Will Levis, but I do know that they had a lot of salary cap space this offseason, and they spent for pieces that should benefit Will Levis if he is actually a franchise quarterback. So I think they're still trying to figure out what the answer to that question is. I think they're still trying to decide. I think that they would like for it to work out. They would like him as a quarterback, and if he still develops and he can play good football, I think they don't have a problem with keeping him, especially because he's a second round pick. He's a rookie quarterback, so it's a rookie quarterback contract, and that means that they can add pieces. They can overpay for Calvin Ridley. They can overpay for Tony Pollard, and with the 7th pick in the draft, they can select the best available tackle and a tackle heavy draft, and then build all on top of that. So I think the answer to your question is that they are going to set him up as best they can for him to succeed. However, they're going to be evaluating him, and if he's showing that he might not be a franchise quarterback, they're going to just select another quarterback. I think that's where they're at, and I think that they're in a good spot to where that's the right decision right now.
We broke that down.
Hey, used to it on matter of fact. He just be spitting the facts like he's AI type shit.
No, I want to hear your take on it.
So my thing with the Titans is I actually don't like what they're doing. Like, unless they know something that we don't know, then I don't like the overpaying, like as if you got that guy. Like Will Levis had his flashes and whatnot, but like, I mean, what, $8 million a year for Tony Pollard for 3 years? Like, you're locking yourself down to why?
Yeah, but it's really only 2 years.
Why?
It's really
I
only
get it, but like it could be only 1 year if they, you know what I mean?
Well, they wanted the player, so they, you know what I mean. But like, you know what I mean. It's okay. And also another thing you have to remember is that one, I think they were either 1 or 2 in the most salary cap this year. Part of what you have to do as an NFL franchise is there's a certain percentage of the salary cap that you have to spend on players. You have to. So like they probably feel the way you feel right now, but it's like, bro, I mean, who's
the corner that's going to be opposite of L'Jarius Sneed now? Who they got over there?
He also picked up Cheeto Bay Awuzie, Dallas Cowboy legend. Cheeto Bay Awuzie. Yeah, he was on the Bengals, and this is actually his third contract in the NFL ever since 2017. So yeah, good shout out to him. But yeah, so it's like they've done things to solidify through free agency some of the holes that they've had. And they're filling up holes that they've had, no Diddy. And also, they still got the draft. And like I said, they got a sweet spot. They picking 7. And no one's really talking about the
tackle 100%.
Oh, yeah. And it's like they're sitting there at 7. Like no one's even talking about trading with them because it's literally like, yeah,
it's a no-brainer. Like,
yeah,
no-brainer, literally.
And that's another thing too with the Will Levis thing. It's like, all right, well, say he's not our franchise quarterback. Well, now we got a left tackle, and then they'll probably get some other guards in here and everything to like solidify their offensive line. They feel like they got some solid pass catchers. So it's like, all right, this guy's not the quarterback for us. Well, at least we already got a left tackle for our next rookie quarterback. You know what I mean? Like because the one thing I wouldn't want to do is throw my quarterback of the future out there without no solid guys protecting him. Because now
Tony Pollard being there to do his thing, help him out there.
And they still got Tajay Spears too.
How do you feel about the Calvin Ridley contract though? $50 million fully guaranteed.
Hey, the price is the price, bro. Like at the end of the day,
Tim D-Hop, they have some decent time.
Traylon Burks, right? Traylon Burks is still over there.
Yeah, but let's see if he could actually start popping. We gotta see what he's made of for real, because that was the whole point of the AJ Brown trade. He was supposed to be the AJ Brown replacement, and I still can't remember. I remember when I heard that trade, I was like, no fucking
dumbest trade ever.
No fucking way y'all gave the Eagles like collusion. Can we get this investigated?
But bro, there's something even crazier about that whole situation. I'm sure you're aware of it. But the money that they decided not to pay AJ Brown is the same exact money that they just gave to Calvin Ridley.
Yeah.
AJ Brown is like 3 years younger than Calvin Ridley.
This is why I'm not an owner, because I understand the GM makes those decisions, but as an owner, I'm watching every game intently. I'm like, oh, you want to trade AJ Brown? You're fired now,
right?
Yeah, you got to go.
Like, what are you talking to me about?
Right. So I mean, yeah, like I follow the Titans. Like one of my best friends from like when we were little kids, like has always been a Titans fan. So I follow the Titans closely. So I kind of like I got an idea what's going on over there. I'll be following them and stuff. So yeah.
Moving on to the NFC South, we got Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Y'all think they're gonna repeat as division champs this year?
I mean, honestly, they were slept on. They were slept on last year, and they pulled it out just by kind of having a little bit of structure and just kind of staying the course and like letting everybody else crumble. They kind of came out on top, and like I don't think that they're a above average team, but there'll be some dumpster fires going on in that division. So as long as they just keep they dumpster not on fire, I think they can go back to they can win the division again.
Hey,
Justin not gonna like that one.
It's respect to his team though. They stayed kind of consistent. They beat the teams they needed to beat, and like they got it figured out. Like people, I get it. Baker isn't a top 10 quarterback or whatever the situation might be. But the thing with quarterbacks like Baker Mayfield is like it's true. There's times where he's the 28th best quarterback. He's the 28th best quarterback that played that week. But there is times where he's the 15th best quarterback that played that week. And that helps. Like that's important.
And they got him for pretty cheap. I mean, like as far as quarterbacks go, about 30 million.
25. Yeah. Like he basically got the Geno Smith deal, and that works out for everybody. Like that's money in his pocket, but then also they saving money off the books because he's not considered a franchise quarterback, and he can get the ball to Mike Evans. So I like him. You know what I mean?
They still got Chris Godwin.
Mm-hmm. And he was and he stayed. He played better.
Is cool. He's a good little pass catcher. I wouldn't mind
left tackle.
Oh, they signed Chase Edmonds too, so that might be a sleeper.
They had him last year. They just re-signed him.
Oh, they re-signed him. Yeah. And I guess it's not a sleeper.
I'm pretty sure they just signed. Can you confirm this for me? But I'm pretty sure they just signed Randy Gregory too.
Yeah, they did. I got it. I got it.
Okay. Right. Yeah.
Appreciate
it. They signed Randy Gregory. I think with the Bucks, they're the prime example of a team that really just has to hit on the draft. And they've been doing pretty decent in the draft recently. Antoine Winfield, that was a great pick. So they really got hit on the draft because I don't think they had the cap space to really splurge in free agency. I don't think they got that much better. I think they kind of kept the status quo. I mean, obviously Randy Gregory's cool, but I mean, they lost Devin White, opted to keep Levante David. So
that's telling.
That is telling. That's why I was telling that dumbass Eagles fan. He was hyped. They were hyped about the Devin White joint. And I'm just like, bro, Levante David is like 6-7 years older. Like
they're hyped about anybody with a name.
Yeah,
anybody with a name.
Literally, like it's Madden. Like it's like, oh yeah, we got this guy. All right, cool. So why didn't they keep the younger guy exactly at the same position? You didn't think about that? Oh, makes sense.
By the end of the year, that's the funniest thing. By the end of the year, that dude wasn't even in on first and second down. They didn't even have him in. They didn't have him in on
crazy. But
yeah,
maybe Howie Roseman plays Mutt. He gets some good Mutt cards. So they were like, hey, let's pull the trigger on him. But
we got the Atlanta Falcons. Addition of Kirk Cousins at QB. Do the Falcons have enough now to win the division? Or
I mean, so here's the thing. Everybody was picking the Atlanta Falcons to win the division last year. They were like, yo, this team can win it. especially with Bijan, like this team could win
Well,
a
they've been
division.
drafting offense in the top 10 for the past like 5 years, so it looks sexy on paper.
Well, they just refuse to do anything at quarterback. Everybody's like, "Yo, okay, like y'all are kind of good, but like, can we get a quarterback that is serviceable in here? We don't even need him to be great.
What's that boy's name? Desmond Ritter. The amount of fumbles at the goal line, like we gotta figure out if that was like a record. Like it was crazy. It was like every other week he's fumbling in the red zone.
And one game, I think he did it 3 times.
Nothing like it.
One game he did it 3 times against the Bucks, and it was
his bags. Then he should have been looking for new homes, to be honest.
And so I think that they like the structure that Kirk Cousins is about to bring to the organization. I think that they like the fact that he's similar to
too, bro. You see the picture of him and his kids with the chains?
Yeah, that's so.
Shout out to Kirk Cousins. I didn't mean to actually call him weird, like he's like some weirdo. I think he's a better, like personality wise. That's who Russell Wilson thinks he's portrayed as, but that's really Kirk Cousins.
He's comfortable with himself. You can tell that Kirk Cousins is comfortable with himself. He's comfortable with his life.
He doesn't have an identity issue. I like Kirk Cousins a lot. I think they're gonna crush this division, to be honest.
If he's healthy, like he's coming from an Achilles injury, but if he's healthy and he can throw off his back foot, like they can play. Yeah, they can be good. They have one of the better offensive lines in the NFL. They got 2 good running backs. They got 2 solid wide receivers with Darnell Mooney, who they signed in free agency, and they also
Darnell Mooney.
Yeah, and they also have Drake London. So that right there, not to mention that they got Kyle Pitts, who should be healthier. He had a bad knee injury that he was playing through. Which I appreciate.
They also got Rondell Moore.
And then they traded for Rondell Moore. So it's like they have speed, they have route runners, and they have a big possession wide receiver. And the Drake London he was good. Like even with these horrible quarterbacks, there was times where he was still managing to get anywhere between 75 to 121 yards. Like he was getting.
That's telling of a good receiver. That's a telltale sign. Like this receiver is good. Look at D-Hop with some of those early quarterbacks in Houston, Brian Hoyer, like there's like 3-4 other like out of the league, like you're not even a backup no more type quarterbacks, and he's always eating. And then you have the combo with Tyler Algier, which I don't really I understand they were trying to protect Bijan, similar to how Detroit kind of had Jahmyr Gibbs on the pitch count, but it's like, bro, Tyler Algier just ran for 1,000, so I don't know if that was like the best move. But hey, y'all better use him right with Kirk Cousins in the building, Kyle Pitts, Drake. Scary offense. I know who I'm indulging into this fantasy football season. Trust.
Yeah, their offense. Is really, really. Yeah, seriously, like their offense is really, really good. Obviously they've had like 2 or 3 eight overall selected picks over the past few years, and I think they have the 8th pick now. And the only problem with them is that their defensive line is just in shambles. And it has actually been, I didn't know this, their defensive line has been in shambles for years. Like not like a few years, like a decade, 10 years. They have been last in pass rush rate for a decade.
Who's like a premier pass rusher for them? I can't really think of. I feel like they had a D tackle that was.
They had Calais Campbell. They had Calais Campbell and Bud Dupree last year, but they both had 6.5 sacks. And it's just kind of like that's where they lack, is that they need a pass rusher. They need some type of pass rusher. Who?
6.5 combined between the two of them?
No. They had 6.5 each.
Oh,
they both had 6.5 each, 6.5 sacks each. So 13 combined.
That's why them and the Titans are kind of like a lock. And that's why your whole Vikings trading with them thing just didn't make sense to me. Get your favorite pass rusher in the draft. Because
your favorite pass rusher is going to be there at 11, though.
Let's see, 9. You don't know that. The Bears might go defense. They're kind of playing with house money.
The Bears could go defense, but they could also get Rome. You know what I mean? Like they could get Roma Duze. But the Bears could do a lot of stuff. But at the same time,
so they're a wild card. So it's like, do you want to risk trading back and you're in love with like a Dallas Turner Or
if they're in love with Dallas Turner, then maybe they just select him. But again, I'm talking about I was talking from the side of Minnesota Vikings don't need to trade to 5, and that's why they're trying to push that. And we'll go into that when we talk about the draft. But like,
we'll spin the block on that.
Yeah.
Let's take it over to New Orleans right quick. I think we want to go ahead and see what's going on with the Saints. What's going on?
The Saints are a funny.
You know how I feel about the Saints, man.
Yeah, they just, they believed that they had enough talent to win, and they believe that they really believe it. They really, that's what it is. They really believe that. I mean, they have good players on their team. They have Chris Olave, who's one of the better young wide receivers out here in the NFL. They have Marquise Lattimore. I think that's his name. Marshawn Lattimore. They have Marshawn Lattimore. I mean, Tyrann Mathieu still there. He just re-signed. They have. They still have Mario Davis. Like, they have solid players. It's just that there's always something going on, or it's not. The players aren't as talented as they believe that they are, and that kind of showed last year. They're not a bad team. they're just not really that good. They do funny stuff with their cap. Like, you'll look at their cap throughout the season. You're like, yo, they have a negative $42 million. Like, what are they doing? It's like, nah, they're just going to restructure it. Like, they do crazy accounting over there. They're a fun team to follow.
They act like the Rams when they won the Super Bowl or the 49ers like these past 2 years, where it's like, yo, we're all in. We're going to pay these older players. Like, they're the opposite of like the prime Patriots, who moved off of players early,
but they're just the wrong players. Like, they like for real. And there's teams that like that, and there's fans that can appreciate. Okay, we're going all in. Oh, we got a solid defense. We just need a quarterback. So they thought Derek Carr would be the answer. Like they just don't pick the right players. Like, they do what most fans would want their team to do. And they even like play with the books to the point where it's like, all right, like, okay, like, they're trying to figure this thing out. They'll spend the money, they'll get whoever. It's just sometimes they're not the right players. And that's what they're essentially dealing with. They don't like the Chase Young signing, because he signed with a neck brace on, bro. He literally signed with a neck brace on. I'm not trusting that.
1 year, $13 million.
Yeah. I mean, they're trying
to tie themselves to him for too long. I mean, I guess it's like a high ceiling, high upside move. But once again, it's like a move where it's like, bro, go draft the edge rusher. Just go. I just don't understand. I don't know what their draft capital is like. But do you think it's like a foregone conclusion that they're drafting like a quarterback maybe in the later rounds? Or do you think it's like, yo, Derek Carr, he's really him?
No, I mean, I just think it's a situation where some teams, you're just too good to draft a quarterback, bro. Sometimes you win too many games to be in position to draft a quarterback. And I think that they're in a situation where they won too many games. They can't draft a quarterback. You know what I mean? After you win 7 games, you kind of got to give it up. You got to give the quarterback up.
But like, they're in purgatory, and they move like a team that doesn't know, like, yo, you either got to like start like a quick rebuild, and they just opt to go all in every time. So I think they're going to be competitive per usual. They're kind of similar to the Steelers, but the Steelers move smarter, and they have, more consistency at coach and throughout their organization. Well, I think they're riding the high of that one Super Bowl win. It's like, bro, y'all got to get over that, man. Like, it's over. You're done.
I mean, yeah, but I get it though. Like, you know what I mean? As much as sometimes I just understand what the organization is thinking, and I understand what they believe. Like, they might be wrong, but they believe it, and at least their fans can't complain. Oh, they're not doing anything. Da 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 da. Like, me personally, no, I don't need my team to spend $13 million on Chase Young, but I know that there's fans out there that are like, oh yeah, we got Chase Young. He was awesome in 2020. Like, all right, bro. That's worth $13 million.
Like that, you don't think he was worth the number 2 overall?
I won't get into that, but yeah, I just believe
we'll get into that when we talk about the NFC East. We'll get into that.
Yeah. So
I wish nothing but the best for him. I wish nothing but the best.
Then as you should. DC native, you know what I mean? He's from out this way. Like, yeah, let him do his thing. Let him get his cash. But I'm glad he's not on my team's books, respectfully.
Yeah, I'm glad we opted for that boy, big Spider.
Anyways, moving on to the next team, we got the Carolina Panthers. So, is there hope for the Panthers to recover from their recent string of setbacks?
If I'm being completely honest, no. No. Like, there's no hope. One of my closest personal friends is a damn as a Carolina Panther fan. Like, bro, I can tell you, like, nah, bro, it's bad.
Realistic.
It's bad. It's the owner right now is probably easily like the worst owner in sports.
Oh yeah, he took Dan Snyder. You saw him pouring that drink on the fan.
He threw a drink out on a fan, and like he does a lot of stuff, that I was even explaining to Dom, and Dom didn't believe me. Dom didn't believe me, but I'm like, yeah, bro, his wife literally makes decisions. His wife makes football decisions.
Oh my god!
And he was like, no, he don't know. Bro,
I was in shock when I went to their team website and I saw her position. You could go to like a company, let's say Walmart, and you could look at all their like C levels or just the
our team or whatever.
Like our team. And she's sitting right there, and they just got married a couple years ago. So it's not even like she got it out the mud. She wasn't with him shooting in the gym when he was making his little stock plays to become a billionaire who could buy a team. So it's just like he seems very emotional. He's like an emotional owner, and he wears it on his sleeve, and you can't have that. And now it's like they kind of altered. I think that trade really alters. We're going to look back and like that really changed like the trajectory of so much shit in the league, because it's like y'all were so bad. Y'all had the number one pick. Y'all could have Caleb Williams right now, or y'all could have had CJ Stroud. You know what I mean? Which a lot of pundits, a lot of people had Bryce Young as that guy. But like as soon as I saw him in pads that first game, because I don't pay attention to the Panthers, I was like, bro, this nigga is little as hell, bro. Like
that's what my dog was saying the entire
time. Bro.
The entire draft process, all he was doing was showing pics of this man next to another person, and it's like, yo, this cat's he's not tall, bro. Like he's probably listed at maybe 5'10", 5'11". That boy is
5'9".
Like 5'9" and kind of frail.
And maybe 190, bro.
Yeah, and he's not Kyler.
He's not Kyler. He's not Russell Wilson in his prime. Like if you're going to get a tiny guy, he needs to have world-class athleticism. And Kyler Murray, he got drafted to the MLB the same year he went number 1 overall. So if he's that tiny, he better be sliding, moving, grooving like a Kyler Murray.
I don't think it's all Bryce Young's fault. Like I don't think Bryce Young is trash. I think he like the evaluation process showed that he was the number 1 quarterback. And the reason it showed that was because that was what he was putting on film. He was actually putting that on film. It was legit. Like it's okay that he was the first quarterback selected. It's just like everything after that, that was bad. That's what made him one of the worst rookie quarterbacks of the last 20 years. It was everything that was there was an infrastructure that was put in place. It was the fact that the offensive the coach didn't even want the quarterback. The coach did not want that player.
And then you fire the coach mid-season, like it's his fault. It's like, bro, I didn't even want the kid. Yeah, and I know they had like a former quarterback who was like a consultant. I forget his name, who also wanted CJ Stroud over him. And then it's also like you trade your number 1 wide receiver, and it's such a loop. So
they said the reason
they traded Brian Burns. They traded. I'm glad they didn't though. Shout out Spider. You know what I mean? But like, bro, you ended up trading him for less value later. You might as well Brian Burns to the Bears. They would have never got Sweat, I guess, but traded him to the Bears. you gotta, no matter how good you think the quarterback is, you gotta build that talent around him, which is why the Bears traded for Keenan Allen. You know what I mean?
So
you do
to
that.
circle back to what the owner said. He said, "Oh no, we don't need a number one wide receiver because
He's a point
Bryce
guard,
Young is a point guard at quarterback."
which
All right,
is
be careful what you wish for.
which is ridiculous. Which is basically what CJ Stroud ended up being, but like Nico Collins is younger, has more upside than Thielen. And shout out to Thielen. I always thought like Thielen, he got the wash.
I mean, he's cool, but like it would have been nice to have Thielen and to have DJ Moore. Again, they made a lot of mistakes. They drafted a wide receiver in the second round, and he just really wasn't that good. I mean, if you have to really break down Jonathan Mingo, you have to really break down the Carolina Panther film to just see everything that they were doing that was just wrong. Like the routes that they're running, the space on the field, like they're not even having the right spacing. It's like everything is wrong. It's like they're letting the cornerback guard him and they're letting the sideline guard him. The quarterback has nowhere to throw the ball. It's crazy when you.
So Austin, you're saying that it's not all on Bryce, or you're basically saying it's not all on Bryce Young, right?
It's not. No, for you to be as bad as he was, it can't be all on. It can't be all on one
not
person.
Even close. Not even close. It's like, bro, you traded DJ Moore immediately killed it with the Bears. He's the reason why these Bears fans are delusional and think they shouldn't have drafted Caleb Williams. You feel me? And the thing is, it's like, I mean, how do you feel about Deontay Johnson? You know, that's one good move. That was probably like their best move in years, maybe. But
I mean, it's just they had to do something. They had to do something, and I think that he's going to be fine. Like I think that's what he needs, though. Like he needs, like it was not all Bryce Young's fault. It was the wide receivers didn't play. They weren't good. They were not getting open, and it's kind of hard for somebody to throw the ball to you if nobody's open. And then he was getting crushed. So it was just a bad situation, and they gave up too much. They gave up too much capital for Bryce Young, and then they did for this to be this dumpster fire, which is why I'm saying it's not this year at least.
I don't think they'll be viable until the end of the decade. I think it's that bad. Because think about it. Think about who they've traded these past couple years. Christian McCaffrey, Brian Burns, and I'm missing somebody. They traded another
DJ Moore.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Wait, no.
DJ Moore.
Oh yeah, it was
DJ Moore. Yeah,
DJ Moore. And what do they really have to show for it? You know what I mean? They could have got multiple first-round picks for Brian Burns, traded him to the Giants for a second and a fifth. That's what we gave up Leonard Williams for to the Seahawks.
But the reason they had to do that was because they're like, oh, okay, they just
need capital.
They ruined so much. And
then when everybody knows, you're trading Brian Burns because y'all need capital bad, then you're not going to get the same price for him. And that's what happened with them. And I think the owner did say he's given up some of his, he's going to be less of a meddling owner. But hey, bro, it might be too late. I mean, for now, things could happen years down the line, but for now, they're cooked.
And if you ever just are bored, Google the head coach's name. Just Google it. The things you'll find out about the head coach is crazy.
Yeah, he was addicted to something pretty interesting and wrote a book about it for some reason. He's not about to be a coach. Bro, keep that in your diary. Keep that with your therapist. I don't really get it. But he did go with Baker. So I get it. But it's also it's interesting. And when you add isolated by itself, it might be nothing, but it's interesting given the rest of the moves.
I mean, it just kind of goes to show how desirable that coaching job was after he fired his second coach. You know what I mean? Like, it's just kind of one of those things.
I mean, I think it was a good hiring, like schematically, like in terms of what he could bring and
We'll
help
see.
out with Bryce Young.
We'll see.
And then they also got Robert Hunt for, I mean, they paid a lot for a guard. I'm seeing
$25 million a year.
$26.5 million a year. And it's no. 100 it's 5 years, 100 mil, including a 26.5 million signing bonus. That's what it was. And it's like, listen, when your team is that bad, you're going to have to overpay for players, because it's like, bro, why should I come here? I know we're going to be ass, and it's crazy. Now you don't have your number one pick in a loaded quarterback class. That's something you have to project and see in the future. Like, yo, should we actually trade up right now?
No, I mean, they would have been fine if they just drafted Josh Richardson. I mean, Anthony Richardson. Like, I mean, it wasn't that it was just
I thought Anthony Richardson went 5, didn't
he? Yeah, they had the first pick.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Because it's like, all right, y'all traded DJ Moore, but he's like an actual dual threat. Mm-hmm. Whereas Bryce Young, like, you don't want to put that boy out in the open field, possibly getting hit by these linebackers or some of these, safeties or anyone. The punter could injure Bryce Young, I feel like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But I mean, that's the Carolina Panthers. That's what they're dealing with right now. They're not really having that much fun over there. But we'll see. We'll see what they can do. I don't think it's going to be much.
They're a wash. They're an easy parlay ad pretty much every week just to juice your parlay a little bit. Is the way I see it.
But I have a question for y'all, and I really want y'all to be honest about this. So, Bryce Young, I know you guys mentioned multiple times that he's undersized and he's just not looking like he's, built to be a quarterback in the NFL.
No, that's not what we said. Oh, wait, whoa. That's not what we said. We said we said that on tape he put out enough to be the number one quarterback selected. Like, his evaluation.
Stature, I don't think you draft like a guy of that stature. He might have had the skills, but if you're going to draft a guy of that stature,
you need to have things in place for him. Yeah, you need to have a lot of stuff in place.
He's not somebody that's just going to elevate your team with that lack of athleticism and just his size in the league.
But that's the question. Y'all believe that that he has the ability and the potential to develop that athleticism? And that
he can't develop. You can't develop being a better, more. Either you an athlete or you not.
Yeah, it's either that or that. Because what else could he do? Could he get bigger? I'm sure he could lift some weights, but that isn't really going to affect really his athleticism per se.
Like, they just need a better scheme.
I want to say physical. I want to say physical ability more so than athleticism.
I don't think his physical ability is actually even really the problem. I just think that one of the wide receivers just need to get open.
Like, it's not like he's an immobile quarterback. It's not like he can't move outside the pocket, because he was doing a lot of that low key. But it's like it's just I mean,
he just don't got it.
It's not. It's the organization. It's not necessarily him, and that's what I'm trying to get you to understand. It's like it's not that he doesn't have it. Like, he went out there and was like, oh, he sucks at football. It's that he didn't have the right infrastructure in place to succeed. That is what I'm saying.
And look at Caleb Williams, which ironically, that's the pick they have to get Caleb Williams. I think the big thing, Bears fans, and I feel like it was an easy thing to move off of, is like, bro, we got lucky with this move, because if they got CJ Stroud, they probably wouldn't be the number one pick. And maybe we mull over keeping Justin Fields. But look at Caleb Williams' situation. He's going into a situation with Keenan Allen, DJ Moore, Cole Kmet, Khalil Herbert, and they just got another running back.
Four returning offensive starters on the line. Yeah,
and the line is looking smooth. That's why their ninth pick, I think they should stick and pick. Or unless they get like a good
no, you sticking the pick. Yeah, everybody's trying to do this fun thing where everybody wants to trade back. Why are we trading back from all these blue chip players?
Right.
Like,
It's a
since
deep,
when?
it's a
It's
deep
like, what is
draft.
good with
You
this?
just take your pick. Maybe if you move back to 11 and you know that the Jets are going to do weird Jets things at 10 and you want to trade back to 11, but don't trade back far in this class.
Yeah, I'm
Like,
not trading, bro. I'm picking.
right.
I'm not even, my phone gonna be on silent during the draft. Like,
especially when quarterback and receiver is what's deep, and you just traded for a receiver and you're going to draft a quarterback. So that means in terms of all other positions, best player available on your board, that's the move, at least to me.
which is why I could see them. I could see the first defensive players going off the board also at 8 and 9. I could see that if they stay. Like, I could see those being the spots where the first defensive players go off the board. Dallas Turner, and
I
then
wouldn't mind if
maybe
they got Quinyon Mitchell right there. Like
right, but that's what I'm saying though.
If that's to you the best corner in the draft and you want to boost that because you just traded for Montez Sweat, yeah, you want somebody opposite him. But hey, man,
or they can do that. They can, yeah, like, you know what I mean, like yeah.
Really.
So
Panthers.
Yeah, so the Bears, because of what the bad decisions that the Panthers had made over the past 18 months, the Bears have actually reaped the benefits of that. And that's how this football stuff goes for the most part.
Yeah, throughout history, it's been, hey, that's the thing that changes your franchise around. You get one good trade going, you get them picks, and you hit on them. Ryan Poles, salute to you. The Chase Claypool thing, terrible. But ever since then, he's been doing his thing.
Hey, man, when you playing the game, you're going to have some hits, you're going to have some misses. That's just how it goes. We just want more hits than misses.
Well, that wraps up this episode of Matter of Fact. Thank you all who tuned in. We really appreciate y'all's support. And if y'all could drop a like, subscribe, it mean the world to us. You know, we're just getting started right now. This is Matter of Fact. And Matter of Fact, that's it.
All right.